You're watching The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Hey, everybody. Have you walked in the comic shop one day and thought, there's so many books, what the hell am I going to get? Don't worry. We're here to help. This is In Stores This Week. Stay tuned. Hey, everybody. Welcome to In Stores This Week here on The Experience. I'm Dan. I'm joined by Jay.
How's it going, everybody?
If you're here looking for Kyle, I got good news for you. He's not here.
Well, at least we still have one comic expert here. That's you.
Oh, Jesus. We're in trouble. So, yeah, Kyle is off this week, and I believe next week. So Jay and I will be holding the fort until he gets back. So I should probably do the, hey, the internet, just so you guys feel like it's still going normal. As we get started, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. It would be greatly appreciated. Or the thumbs up if you're on Facebook, or whatever the hell they do on Twitch.
Yeah.
Honestly, don't know. So we are going to talk about comics this week, but I just wanted to touch base on something that just happened. This is more comic-related news in the sense it has to do with the Flash movie. Ezra Miller has been arrested for a second time in a single month. He has been arrested for assaulting a woman with a chair in Hawaii. And I am seeing a lot of response to this about all over the spectrum. One gentleman posted, I'm going to quote his post, Dan Merrill, who does online reviews and stuff, says, Warner Brothers Discovery deal closed 11 days ago. Since then, the latest Wizarding World movies was a box office flop. Two of their franchise stars are facing off in a defamation trial, and the star of their most anticipated DC film was just arrested again. That's just in 11 days. Now, yes, that is absolutely horrible for the Warner Brothers / Discovery new deal. He could have also thrown in that another one of their upcoming stars, Barry Keoghan, got arrested also for drunken whatever, and he's probably going to be the new Joker. But I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't think any of that really matters. What matters is that Ezra Miller appears to be self-destructing. He's obviously got some issues, has been acting out, and doesn't appear to be able to take the pressure that's being put on him. Right. Warner Brothers has put all Ezra Miller projects on hold until further notice. He's also part of the Fantastic Beasts franchise. But I think the important thing here is he obviously needs help. And bandying about it on social media and stuff like that, the guy needs help.
Yeah.
You know, which it shouldn't be the butt of jokes or incriminations about how he portrays a character or what DC should do with or not do with. I saw somebody said, well, that's it. Just go ahead and reboot the entire DC universe. Yeah, there's a serious problem here that has to be dealt with. Warner Brothers, who as a company has, employed this guy, but they should be moving out there to quell this, to get him some help. His friends, his family, that's what should be happening right now. To hell with the Flash movie and Fantastic Beasts and any other movie he's working on. To hell with what it means for that. The movie he's done is not going to change anything. If they don't move forward with him, they recast, whatever. When you have a situation like this, a lot of people are going, well, he's an a-hole and he should be behind bars. Okay, one incident maybe. Multiple incidents, 2 in the same month. That tells me that there's something wrong, that he needs help. And we should be encouraging Warner Brothers to get him the help, encouraging people to get him the help so that these situations do not happen again. We shouldn't be throwing incriminations and dispersions and all of that at him. And I really wish the internet is an amazing thing. It brings you knowledge, entertainment, but it also opens up the world to just hate and bigotry and all of this stuff. And just because you can sit at home and type something and it goes out into the ether doesn't mean you should. So let's stop and hope that he gets help. Like I said, encourage Warner Brothers, his family, encourage him to get help, to make sure that woman is that got attacked, he got attacked, that she is taken care of, and be human about it.
Yeah.
Don't be a fanboy about it. Be human about it. So that's what I just had to say. And go ahead, Jay.
Spoiler alert, folks. Nobody's going to make it out of life alive. So you might as well just be good to each other. There's plenty of other things on this planet that's going to take us out. So just be good to each other.
Yep. Comic book industry, when growing up for me, the comic book industry was always a safe haven, a fun place to go. I'm in the comic industry because at 11 years old, I walked into my first comic book convention and I met Jack Kirby, and he was so incredibly nice to me. And I met Walter Koenig the same day, and Carolyn Monroe. And it was one of the most amazing experiences of my life, just that entire day. And I walked out of it knowing I wanted to work in comics because it was such a great industry and such a great fan base. It changed my life. And I don't know of anybody who can look at the industry and the fan base we have now and would think the same thing. So, all right,
boss. You ready to talk about some comics? Kind of get over.
Yeah. This is in stores this week. We are going to talk. We've got 3, 6, 9 books to talk about this week's. A lot of number ones, a lot of one shots. I think we only have 2 books this week that aren't one of those. There's a number 2 and a number 7. Everything else is a brand new book, a good jumping on point. So let's just roll. And Jay, I'm just going to have you throw them up there, and we'll talk about it as you go. So
okay, because I want to go ahead and get this out of the way.
The Vampire Slayer, yes. Yeah, if you are looking for a completely new take, an alternate reality version of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and the reason it's just called the Vampire Slayer is because it's not Buffy. Someone else is the Slayer. Mind you, everybody else is still involved. Willow's still there, Xander's still there, Buffy's still there, and Giles is still there. And they're taking on a giant crab monster. I believe he's the Duke of Pinch. Prince of Pinchy was the term Xander wanted to use, but instead he's actually the Duke of Pinch.
Yeah.
And I got to say, while this was an okay story, it didn't exactly grab me and make me want to come back next month. It didn't really get my attention as anything new or special. When they do a what if or they do a DC Elseworld, there is a major change, but there's more to it. What if Superman was born in Russia? If he turned out to be the exact same thing, that wouldn't have been interesting.
No.
But because he worked for the Russian government, and then you've got Batman being a rebel and all this stuff going on, that's what made Superman Red Son interesting. This here, at least not yet, there hasn't been anything that jumped out at me as unique or so compelling that I gotta read it. So how about you, Jay? How did you feel about this?
this book is for someone, but it's not for me. Once again, I don't know if it's just a recurring theme with this and Angel, but the jokes just don't land for me. 90% of them were eating the giant crab jokes. You know, once is fine, but when most of the jokes are about eating the crab, it gets kind of tired.
Yeah.
I'm with you on the actual Slayer part of it. Who they picked as the Slayer, it just wasn't interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I didn't like the fact that Buffy wasn't the Slayer. That automatically made her a dummy. She didn't know what a flamethrower was. I mean, come on. Like I said, you know, the book to me was it was boring. It was hard to read. I mean, at least the last Buffy book that we read, and I can't remember if it was what series Buffy, because I know they have a couple. The one where they were stuck in the time loop.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that one a lot more than I did this one. So I definitely, like I said, it's for somebody, but it's not for me.
Yeah, the last one we read was an anniversary type book, and it had multiple stories, including the one that launched this series. And I found the story in there for this to be very interesting. And I was looking forward to this, but it just doesn't land, you know? So hopefully it gets better with number 2.
Yes.
All right, what else we got?
Why don't we do Grim Tales of Terror?
Grim Tales of Terror. You want to lead out on this one?
Yes. Right off the bat, the first couple of panels, the art was really strange to me. It wasn't with Zenescope. I'm used to a certain quality when I first opened their books, and the first couple of panels were just kind of wonky with the art.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it cleared up after a couple of pages, but I don't know. Maybe it was just so much going on. There was something about the first couple of panels, though, that the art just wasn't there for me.
Yeah.
Let's see. This one was a anthology, kind of, I guess you would call it, because it had many diverging storylines that kind of meshed together at the end.
Yeah.
Okay. Because, you know, you start off with these thieves that have stolen uniforms and badges that get on this ship, and the badges they have give them access to all levels of the ship, and they can get into people's rooms. They're planning on robbing people blind. Well, then they walk by somebody, and the story diverts to them.
Mm-hmm.
And then that story plays through, and then it goes to another one. And then the last story, they all come to a point. This was really, really good. I like the fact that there is some gore in it, but it's not until like the very end of the book. I kind of like how they did that, where, you know, not every story was a schlock fest.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that they saved a really gory part for the end of the book, and the fact that the ship might not be a normal cruise ship. This one really hit the mark with me. Like I said, after the first couple of panels with the art, and I got into the story, I really enjoyed it. So, what'd you think?
I have to always give the disclaimer with a lot of these companies. I have worked for Zenescope, so but I'm always honest about my opinions. This wasn't my favorite Zenescope book. I liked the idea behind it, that you have this cruise ship that, you know, basically punishes the wicked, and but there seemed to be like different levels of wickedness, but everybody was still being punished the same. I mean, the woman, I didn't really get the feeling the first woman that gets messed up, she's not a nice person, but I don't necessarily think she deserved what she got. Where down the line, other people, it's like, I don't know. I'm not sure they really sold that the punishment fit the crimes on this, but it is an interesting contrivance that all the innocent people get off at one point, and then the really, really bad stuff starts happening. And affairs seem to be just. I've never taken a cruise, but it seems like the last thing you want to do is, if you're married, is go on a cruise, because someone's going to cheat, at least according to this book. Yeah. But it was interesting because they changed artists quite a bit in this, and it kind of went with the story, dropping the beer cans. Huh?
Yeah.
And some of the art was good. Some of it was a little stiff. I don't think the whole book was up to. It wasn't consistent. There are some really good parts, and there are some parts it's like, okay. But overall, I think it's a neat idea. I just think it may not have been executed as well as it could have been. Some of the dialogue, some of the stories a little stiff, and some of the art needs some work. But the overall idea is interesting. And if you are a fan of Zenescope, this fits in. This is the quarterly Grim Fairy Tale book, or Grim Tales of Terror, and you get that. You get what you're looking for with this. So you get those twisted tales. Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
We're a little harsh today, but okay.
We are. There's a few of them. Trust me, folks. There's a few of these in here that are actually really good and that we like, but some of them are kind of rough.
Yeah.
Let's go with Armorclads number 2.
Yeah. I don't know if you got a chance to read the first one.
Yes.
Okay. This is going somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm along for the ride, but they're going to need to get there soon. I like the art. I like the concept, the setup. It feels a little like territory we've gone over before in some sci-fi movies. Predators, that type of stuff. But it does feel like it might be heading in a unique direction. But again, I'd like to see them get there. I am a big advocate for Valiant. I think they do some really good stuff. And Armorclads is one of the titles that they haven't played with in years. Mm. So the fact that they've launched this new Armorclads book, it's a unique take on it. I think it's really cool that they've made it this sci-fi. I don't want to say sci-fi horror, but it's definitely a sci-fi feel to it.
Yeah.
I really want to see where they're going with this. I think it's got a lot of potential. Like I said, the art looks good. It is one of my books to recommend this week. But I think they do need to. It's going somewhere, but they need to really get there.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's total agreement with that. They need to ramp it up. This one, right off the bat, great art. I really dig the art in this. I'm starting to suspect that these kids are more than just kids. I don't know if maybe they're clones or androids or something, but there's something there with the way that they get talked to by the superiors that show up. There's just something about it. They're so expendable. Mm-hmm. I just don't know if they're actually human. So you have the commander show up after what happened in the first issue with, what was it, their captain or their colonel that they let die?
Yeah, Troy.
There you go. And so they're being questioned. And one of the Armorclads, they speak up, say it was them. So they're going to be executed. But then they get a call. Then the executioner gets a call, and they decide, well, we're going to take you to see a governor or something. Somebody stopped the execution from happening. Well, it's decided that the rest of that particular outpost is going to be split off and moved to different ones. And on the way there to the new outpost, some of the characters we met in the first book are going to this new outpost, and it's being attacked. And it basically ends with, once again, the kids kind of saving themselves. And one of the characters whose name I forget, Layla, I think.
Layla, yeah.
Layla, she ends up getting in this big mech suit after they win.
Mm-hmm.
And the officer that she steals it from, she's like, okay, where's the guy you took?
Paris, yeah.
Paris, yes. This is a great story, but again, I got to agree with you. I'm kind of like, it almost feels like a repeat of the first issue. Like they could have taken something out or done something differently to just be like, okay, now I'm hooked. By the second issue, that's when I usually decide if I'm going to get a trade or not.
Yeah.
Usually by the second issue. But I mean, I like the story so far. I just, like you said, I want them to kind of ramp it up.
It feels like they're building this to be a team that can do stuff they're not supposed to be able to do with these suits. But again, let's get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, normally Kyle doesn't really do any breaks or anything, but we only got 9 books this week. So I think we should probably do our breaks, and we should be at our first break time.
All righty.
So if you're queued up, let's take a quick commercial break.
All righty. We'll be right back.
Did you know that every experience show, including some exclusive content, streams on Twitch? Check it out. Twitch.tv/the_EXP. Or just scan that QR code. Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.
All right, we are back with In Stores this week. We are talking the 9 books that going to come out tomorrow. We've got Jay, myself. We're going to keep going here. Sean, yep. Sean says this is a valiant book I have been excited to read. Please, definitely read it. You know, I mean, remember, we're giving you our opinions, but everybody has their own. Exactly. And what doesn't work for us may work for you and vice versa. So definitely check it out. And if you are looking for your local comic shop and don't know where it is, or if you're traveling and want to pop into a shop, check Comic Book Shop Locator, or comicshoplocator.com. Put in your zip code, and they'll tell you where the nearest shops are. So check that out. All right, let's do another book.
All righty. Now, let's talk about this one.
Should we Rochambeau to see who leads on this one?
Oh, you know what? I'll go ahead and I'll go first with this one.
All right.
So I'm not exactly sure what this book is trying to be. You know, I see collector, and the first thing I think is we're going to get some kind of, you know, Indiana Jones-esque adventure or something like that. No, this is a weird experimenting on prisoners in, what is it, 1940 something Tokyo?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it's during the war.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, I mean, there was no fighting actually in, I don't know. It just doesn't seem right. Something's off about it.
Yeah. But, you know, there's a doctor here that takes the prisoners that they call Maruta. I think is what they call them.
Yeah.
And he decides, and this feels very convoluted to me, but he decides to inject a test group with some kind of serum, and then infect half the group with a bacteria and gauge the psychological, like making them think at first that they're sick to begin with, and then making half of them actually sick. So you have a control group. And then we focus on, I think it's one of the characters at the beginning of the story, and he's starting to get sick. It was very weird to me. Like, I was trying to figure out what this person was trying to do. And I guess I would just need more. I don't know if this was supposed to be a one shot or what's going on with this, but I would need more for somebody to clear the story up for me, because I just didn't get it, I guess.
The best I can figure is the collector is kind of a crypt keeper type character. He's going to be the guide through these stories, and it seems like Will Conrad and Rob Montero may have ideas to do multiple stories, and the collector is the way they're going to do that. And right now we're focusing on Unit 731, this group of prisoners. The lead doctor in this is doing experiments on basically what's going to be chemical warfare. So what he does is he gives them this placebo vaccine so that they think that they're protected, and then induces the chemical, the bacteria, into one half of the group, and then occasionally has them interact, because not only does he want to see what the bacteria does to the group, but he wants to know the psychological aspect of it when some of them are getting sick and some aren't, and vice versa. So I find that kind of interesting. But, and it's these Japanese doctors doing it to Caucasian or American prisoners of war. But the thing is that there doesn't really appear to be a story yet. There doesn't seem to be a purpose for this. It's all set up, and we're really not even sure who our heroes are and stuff. We have one American character who kind of goes along and does what he's told. Every once in a while, we get to know what he's thinking, and we know that he can speak Japanese, but it hasn't come into play yet. And it's not the normal way they do thought. It's just these random air balloons that they put up in a different color. But and he gets sick at the end. I mean, that's pretty much all that happens. And it takes an entire comic to set that up. But it's really confusing, because the collector part of it is the setup, but we don't know what that's for, what that has to do with anything else. And it doesn't feel like, maybe I don't know enough about World War II history, but I don't remember this from a point where American soldiers were being experimented on by the Japanese. If it's an area that's I don't know about, or it isn't as widely talked about, great. If it's like an Elseworld or an alternate reality, then we need to kind of understand that too. And they really don't give you much. Mm-mm. It's more about the experiment, and just it almost seems reversed on me, because Americans treated the Japanese so poorly during the war, the Japanese who were living here, and the Japanese Americans, that it feels kind of weird to have the story flipped. And I just don't get it, So this one is a big head scratcher to me. If there's an audience out there for it, if this is your thing, terrific, but I don't get it.
No. About the only thing I really liked about the book is I like when there's a series of a layout of panels that there's no need for speaking parts or anything like that. It's just let the art tell the story. Yeah. And there was at the beginning of this a few panels that did that for me. Yeah. But outside of that, I didn't get it either. So, all right. Well, all right. The next one we're going to talk about is Jennifer Blood.
Now, Jennifer Blood, this is issue number 7. I don't know how much you're caught up on this, Jay. You read 6, right?
Yes.
Okay. We're continuing the part where Jennifer, the new Jennifer, is working with the what's the term I want for a contract killer? Contract killer.
Oh.
Yeah. She's working with the ex-contract killer, hitman, to go out and kind of clean up the mob ties that are out there. It's kind of picking up off of the first arc, which was about the town that everybody was basically these bad guys in witness protection program, or put there by the feds. Now she's going after other people who have kind of made similar deals. And this one's kind of off for me because there's a lot of pandering sexuality for Jennifer, which is not really, I mean, there's a little bit of it in the first arc, but here it's a little weirder.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they kind of time jump where they give us part of the story and then they jump to another, to what happened before, but it's not clear. Yeah. And it really isn't clear until you jump back and it's like, oh yeah, I guess. And it's really just kind of a filler issue. She ends up not taking the shots she's supposed to take. And it's continued going forward, but it really does feel like a weird filler issue that I'm not sure the purpose of. Like, they're committed to doing X number of issues, and they needed one more because we're going to pick up and continue the story forward next. So it's like they're going, here we go, we're doing the story. Nope. Okay, we're doing the story again. So it's not a bad issue, and again, it's more character development. But again, it I don't know. Kyle would say that Kyle talks about how every once in a while Dynamite the books kind of lose their way and then they come back.
Mm-hmm.
This is a slightly lose their way book.
Well, for me, honestly, the first time reading this, anything Jennifer Blood was that previous issue. So I don't know enough of how the character actually is, but I will say, and I think the hitman's name is Eagle.
Yeah,
I do think that Eagle spying on her when she's in the yoga poses, and like I get drooling. It looked like,
yeah, was
a little like, huh, okay. Are they trying to do some kind of weird he has a crush on her thing? I don't know, but it was a little creepy. I liked how, so she's in the yoga class to get a thumbprint for a phone, I guess, or just a fingerprint in general.
And the phone.
Okay, yeah. See, that part was weird to me because it feels like she stole the phone in between the guy going to wash his hands. So I didn't see her take the phone until she had the phone. But I thought that was kind of cool that they used the whole she spit out her gum and he put his finger in it. So she's going to use super glue to get his fingerprint.
Yeah.
That's kind of ingenious, very spy-like. In this issue, I learned that Eagle is, I guess, trying to atone for past atrocities. So, there's a part when she's going to take a shot at the person they're trying to kill, but somebody gets in the way and Eagle stops her.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'm not adding any more, innocent blood to this ledger of mine.
Yeah.
And then they have a fight. And then they're good again.
Yeah, one of the mobsters' daughters, Fava, and they make a joke about they named their daughter after a bean.
Yeah.
it's her birthday at Disneyland, basically, and they're going to attack them there because all the four that they're after is going to be in the same place. So yeah, and they end up fighting, and it's like, why are they fighting? I don't. Yeah, and then suddenly they're not fighting, and we're not really sure why they stopped either.
Yeah.
So,
but
overall, the series has been a good series, but like I said, this is a speed bump in the road issue. So, all right.
Let's see. Next, I have thoughts on this one. Definitely. Here we go.
I'll let you run on this one.
Okay. So I was actually a big fan of the John Carter movie. Now, this is coming from somebody that, just like the World of Warcraft movie, I knew nothing about John Carter.
Uh-huh.
So going into the movie, I guess that helped me enjoy it more, just as from a movie perspective, a movie fan perspective.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, reading this, was the story bad? Not at all. I liked the art that was in this book, but this art, to me, after seeing other comics with John Carter, seeing the books, the art for me does not work for this character. It doesn't work for this book. If the art was in another book, it'd probably work. But for some reason, it's too kid-like and bubbly looking to me.
Yeah.
Almost reminds me of She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. Gives me that kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
The story's good, though. I do like the story. I've never understood. Is it a consciousness thing that he travels from Earth to Mars? Because his body's still on Earth. I've never really quite got how that works. So
I haven't read enough of the actual novels to know. I know that it seemed to be that he would go into a cave and transfer. Whenever I think of this character, there's another character in comics who I think is based off of this character that I know a little better, and that's Adam Strange from DC.
Oh, okay.
They're very similar. The Zeta beam that takes him to Ran, and how he swaps back and forth. He's got a wife and a daughter. So John Carter and Adam Strange are in a lot of ways the same character. But there's a lot of twists in this. When he goes to Mars, it's because he's grown up on Earth. The density of Mars and the gravity allows him to do stuff that are almost superhuman, like these huge leaps and stuff like that. And you see that in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
If the Tyler Kish movie, if you've seen it, which again is an underrated movie. I think it got a lot of hate and didn't deserve it. It's a fun movie. But now it's all confused because he comes back to Earth and can do those things, but sporadically.
Yeah.
And the aliens are coming through. The Greens are here. There appears to be other Martians, and I only remember the Greens and the Reds, but there seem to be others. Yeah. And I get that confused with Martian Manhunter because there's the green and the whites, but the art, it's good art, but it's not good for this book. I agree with you on that. This is not what I want to see from John Carter. So I'd like to see a different artist on it. I really would. Even this cover, this doesn't say John Carter to me. This says manga,
Swashbuckling pirate.
Swashbuckler, yeah. Yeah. So I love the character of John Carter, and I'm curious where this story is going to go. But again, the artwork doesn't quite work for me. It reminds me a lot of Ninjak, when the last Ninjak story was another one of those that I really liked the story. I love the character. The art was good, but not for that book. Yep. And that's kind of where I'm at with John Carter. So.
Yep. I also thought that some of the dialogue was a little hokey, especially the end. But overall, this is decent, and I'll probably give issue 2 a shot.
Thank you, Sean. That's exactly who it reminds me of Captain Harlock, that cover. I was trying to remember the name of that book. All I could think of was Space Pirate.
Space Pirate. All right, now we got another book from a franchise that I know nothing about, but here we go.
Yes. This one, it helps if you've read, I don't remember the name of the book, but there was there was another Planeswalker book that came out, a one-shot that we covered. And I like pulling out number ones because they're always good jumping on points. This one, there's a lot of stuff out there. There's references to a character named Jace Berlin, who we don't actually get to see in the entire book. But there is Jace Berlin is a character that is known as Jace Berlin must die. There's been D&D campaigns about that, about going off to kill Jace. So Magic is an interesting game in that it has these planeswalkers that are very powerful magic users. And we're following this one particular one who is supposed to be dead, who is currently teaching at a school. We saw her in this other comic when we're following this other planeswalker, and they're trying to bring it's funny in that a lot of the action takes place elsewhere. It's like, well, we have to go. Come, everybody, we have to get together to go stop this person. The next page. Okay, we're back. Yeah, that person died, but we were able to do it. It's like, why aren't we seeing that?
Yeah.
So this is one of those books that I think, even though it's a number one, that it's a piece of a puzzle.
Yeah.
So if you are collecting these, if you're a Magic person and that this is the next piece, great. This is probably awesome. If you've only picked up like one other book so far and you're trying to figure this out, it's going to be a bit confusing. And it definitely is a tell, don't show, which is really, that's rule number one against writers, that you're supposed to show, don't tell. You don't have people go, it's like if in the Spider-Man movie, if we never saw the ending, instead the ending of Spider-Man was Peter Parker going to the donut shop, finding Ned and MJ, and telling them what happened and why they don't remember him, instead of seeing the actual fight on the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
Well, I had to sacrifice my people knowing me, so you guys are really good friends, and it's like that's kind of how this works. So, how about you, sir?
I liked it. Again, not knowing anything about Magic, it was good story. The main character, Liliana Vess,
Yes.
I think is her name. I liked her a lot. I thought her powers being she's a necromancer.
Mm-hmm.
Thought those were cool. When you mentioned Jace, I thought for a second that I missed a page because I was like, I don't remember seeing this character or anything. And there's also parts in it where they look like they're about to battle, and then there's a little box at the bottom that says, if you want to see the rest of this, read this. And I'm thinking to myself, this is an issue 1. Why would you have that in there? I did, however, I like the story. There's a joke in here about 2 zombies. I don't know why I found that funny, but if you read the book, you'll know what I'm talking about. It was funny to me, maybe a dark humor thing. I don't know. But again, this was something that I could read more of it, but I also have to go back and get the issues that it talks about, so I'm not completely lost.
Yep.
But overall, pretty good.
Yeah. All right, we're at our next commercial break. Let's run that, and we will come back and talk about our last two, including our agreed upon pick of the week. So, we'll be right back.
This is The Experience.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hey there, hi there, ho there. You're as welcome as can be.
Hi, I'm Nancy McCann. Welcome to Friday Night Live on The Experience.
Welcome everybody, it's Fat Jack's Comic Crypt. Brendan, Al, Jason, hanging out.
There I am. Welcome back to Kicking It with Henry, folks. I am your host, Henry Kumpa. It's great to be here with you guys.
So we are going to talk about books that are in stores this week.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Mishmash.
Hello, and welcome to the Black Comics Universe, presented by Peep Game Comics.
And you gotta love it that the first people in the minute to skim it are creators.
Up, everybody! Welcome to another Wednesday Warriors. My name is Joey Galvez, and this is my pal Ambrosia.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to Space Cadet.
Hey!
What's up?
Welcome, everyone, for another episode of I Must Ask You a Question.
Hi, everybody! Welcome to Nerd News Now.
Hey, this is Rex. Welcome to Comic Collectibles.
Hey, hello, all you happy people. Welcome to the Dan Wickline Show.
Hi, everybody, and welcome. Is the crazy show that we do on Thursdays called What's in the Box? What's in the Box?
Comic culture and sales.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to In Stores this week. We are talking about comics hitting the shelves tomorrow. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons, or if you're on Twitch, do whatever you do on Twitch, which I think is, just help us spread the love, tell people about the show. Also, remember, make sure you tune in tomorrow. Since Batman hit last night, I will be talking about the Batman during the Dan Wickline show tomorrow. Then there will be Comics Collectibles with Rex and John. And then Wednesday Warriors, they're also going to be talking about the Batman. So if you got a chance to see it, want to share your thoughts on it, join us tomorrow. There'll be a lot of chance to do that. And tune in. So remember, The Experience, every day of the week, there's some great stuff here on this channel. Now, we got 2 books left. One is a pregame for an upcoming event, and the other is a one-shot, and I believe the pregame is up next, correct?
Yes, sir. Here we go.
All right. This is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Armageddon game pregame. Now, this is a terrific idea because what it does is there's a few new pages in there that is setting up the upcoming Armageddon game, which is the grandest plan for the turtle villain, the Rat King. And we're seeing him checking out New York, diving through little tiny holes that nobody should be able to fit in, and talking to his rat friends. But then the rest of the book is reprints of some of the Rat King's greatest adventures or infamous adventures. Him going up against Shredder, him going up against the Turtles. I found it very interesting because I'm not a TMNT guy. Kyle was here. I put this on the list because I forgot Kyle wasn't going to be here. And I thought anytime I can put Turtles on the list, it excites him. It gets his shell a quivering. So I thought, but this is a good thing if you're not a Turtle fan, because it sets you up for the next big event and gets you the teaser for that. But it also gives you an idea of who this villain is, how he works, and the uniqueness of him. And he's kind of a unique villain. You know, he's very different than anything else we've seen. And he's not Shredder because, you know, you go to most people who their knowledge of the Turtles is from Saturday morning cartoons and the movies. They're going to go, well, it's Shredder and it's Rocksteady and Bebop and Krang. And I'm out. You know? And Baxter, but I don't know if Baxter's a bad guy. Well, this is another major villain for them. And, you know, if this was a Fantastic Four where Shredder is Doctor Doom, this is kind of Kang. This is, you know, Kang the Conqueror, another, you know, big major threat for them. So good pickup. I liked it. What about you, Jay? What did you think?
I liked it too. I haven't read many Turtles comics. Now, when I was a kid, not only did I watch the Saturday morning cartoon, but I did have a Turtle comic that came with the cassette.
Uh-huh.
And you would play the cassette, and it'd be voice actors acting out like an audiobook.
Very cool.
Yeah. But
I had a book on records. Yeah.
But this has got to be the scariest version of Rat King I've ever seen. Like, I am used to the Rat King from the cartoon. I
didn't even remember him showing up in the cartoons.
He wore green, had like wraps around his face, had a short red hair. This guy, with his old world style dialogue and his look, this guy creeped me out.
Yeah.
Now I just skimmed the book, but I don't know what it is. I loved the art in this book. Like I said, I'm not a big art person. I don't know what it's called, but there's something about the shading on the turtles and just the way it's drawn. I love the art in this book. Mousers and Flyborgs is the only other thing I'm going to say about it. Mousers and Flyborgs. I haven't seen Mousers since the cartoon 20, 30 years ago. This is one that, I did. Like I said, I skimmed it. Mm-hmm. But when we're done, I'm actually going to go back and read the whole thing.
Yeah.
I enjoyed what I read.
I may actually read along the Armageddon game. I'm kind of curious what's going to go on now. So that's been the big problem for me with since we started this show, we get the Turtle books from IDW to review, and I'm so lost because I don't know the setup, but this has got me interested. And you know, it might involve me having long talks with Kyle to catch me up. But I think we'll be covering the Armageddon game pretty thoroughly. So
awesome.
All right, let's get to our pick of the week. Dun dun dun. Might be
so
surprising,
good,
folks.
So good.
Yes. Star Trek Ferengi one shot. The future is female. I watched DS9 when it came out. I loved it, and just all the characters on that show were so fun. One of my favorite moments was Odo, the constable on the DS9, where he had to go arrest somebody, but they didn't want him arrested, so they told him to maybe meander, you know, don't rush over there. And to watch Odo try to meander was rather entertaining. That was one of the highlights for me of that series. But Quark was a great character on the show. I think the actor was Armin Shimmerman, played the character. And Rom, his brother, always loved the Ferengi were kind of new. We saw them a little bit in Next Generation, but this really gave us a lot of the history of the Ferengi, a race that is commerce-based. Everything about them is commerce-based. You do everything for profit. But the downside is, and this is long established, women aren't supposed to wear clothes. They're not supposed to be seen. There are actual tunnels built into their cities so the women can get around because they're not supposed to have clothes on. and they're not supposed to be seen. So they travel underground where the males walk around. And this whole thing is about a smuggling operation that their mother, and her mother has a regular name, but they call her Moogie. And that's, from the series. And Moogie is a troublemaker, causes nothing. Quark gets nothing but trouble from Moogie. She makes a profit, which is illegal for a female. She wears clothes, and just absolutely love the character. Love how Quark gets pulled into this. She is smuggling female Ferengi off the planet and into another galaxy or whatever it is, another sector, so that they could establish themselves. Teaches them how to make a profit. And yeah, she is definitely a progressive thinker. This is such a fun comic. It's a self-contained story. The art is great. The facial expressions. I could hear Arnim Zimmerman's voice and Rom's voice. I could hear the voices from the show. Just absolutely loved this issue. By far, my pick of the week. It's an expensive book. You can see the cover price. We aren't supposed to talk about covers, but this is well worth it to dive deeper into the Ferengi as a race, to spend time with Quark again and his brother Rom, and to see Moogie again, because she does show up in DS9. So this was just loved this. How about you, Jay? What did you think?
This is also going to be my pick of the week. Quark has always been one of my favorite characters. Now, the first time I saw the Ferengi scared me to death because I was a kid when Next Generation was out. And it was the episode when I think Picard is on vacation or something. That's the first time I remember seeing a Ferengi.
Yeah.
Scared me to death. But Quark and the way the Ferengi are, not how they treat the women, of course, but they say things like, you mean all the profit in the world to me? Instead of feelings, they replace it with money. I thought that was hysterical. I think that's just so funny that profit means that much to them, that they'd rather say, I care for you as much as profit, more than something like I love you or you just mean the world to me.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things, not only because it was centered around Quark and his brother, but when Quark sees somebody, he starts to go after them. Well, while he's doing this, there's like what I like to call a cameo. It's a panel that is just cameos galore. Like, I might not be able to name every character, but I was sitting there like, hey, it's this person, or it's this person. And just while he's following, it's just, oh, there's Odo, there's this person, there's this person.
Yep.
This was just such a fun read. I loved it. I love the fact that the only way they could get Quark to go along was, hey, you're going to get money and you can get even with this person.
Yep.
That's how they got him into it.
Yeah.
I loved it. And man, I would read more stories like this. It's very much a female empowerment book. Man, it's so good. I'm so happy that I got to read this.
Yeah, it feels like true Star Trek to me. They've been doing these alien race books. We got one with the Klingons. There was another one. I don't remember what race it was, but it's the Bajoran, Jadzia with the Trill. That's it. So they've been doing those and they've been great. Sean, the Grand Nagus is not Rom in this book. Now, I don't know what they do in the video game, but the Grand Nagus is somebody else, and who seems to be scared of Mogi because he lets her get away with shit all the time. So, all right, folks, that is it. That was our pick of the week. These are 9 books, hidden shelves tomorrow. There's a lot of other really good books hidden tomorrow. There's another Hell Sonia book. There's a bunch of Marvel and DC. That Marvel and DC don't send us free comic or books to review, so we don't talk about them. But yeah, there's some great stuff in the shop. Go. If you don't know where your local comic shop is, or if you're out of town, check out comicshoplocator.com. Put in your zip code of wherever you are, and they will tell you where the new books, where the shops are. Remember, come back tomorrow. We'll be doing the Dan Wickline show, comic collectibles with Rex and John, and of course, Weekend Warriors. Lots to talk about Batman tomorrow. Should be a fun day. Join us. Thanks for joining us, Jay, Sean, everybody else coming along. It was a lot of fun. See you next week. And Kyle, if you're out there, hi.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.